your AccuWeather forecast. I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
From local sports to national newsmakers, this is the show everybody is talking about. Live from the Granite State, it's Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Good morning and welcome to the Mike and the Hoss Show, powered by the Yum Shop on the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Dene, and alongside Charlie Hossack, we are Mike and the Hoss. Dog back in studio. It's a good Saturday. Weather's nice. We get some interesting stuff happening on our show today, Charlie.
We do. It's actually a special show. We're excited. We're going to welcome an old time friend who needs some help, and we're hoping that the listeners today will be able to help him out.
He also gave us our start.
He did.
It was 7 years. 7 years ago, we were quote unquote discovered.
Yes. So I bet Dog is awfully excited that for Timothy Goodwin, who we're going to meet later, because it was able to put us into the lap of the famous J-Dog. So
yeah,
he's great.
And Patriots preseason's that's rolling. The Tom Brady statue is up there, so you can go touch it, Charlie, and do your thing with it. And
you better believe it. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, when am I going to make a trip out there to see the Tom Brady statue and be able to get a picture with it and touch it? And I cannot wait.
He was pretty good last night. He did a lot of interviews. He did one during the game. He walked around the park a lot, stadium, and he did a good job. He didn't just show up, do the speech, and then take the private jet out of town. He stuck around and did a lot of media afterwards, and it was good. It was a good night for Brady and the legacy as the Patriots. It was pretty good.
Are we gonna see a Bill Belichick statue at some point in the future?
We were just talking about that off air. I don't know if I want to see a Bill Belichick. I'm afraid what they do. Sometimes they butcher these statues. I see the Dwayne Wade statue. It doesn't even look like him. And I thought the Brady rendering was okay. It was okay. He was a little stocky. It didn't look like TB12. It looked a little stocky.
I know you mentioned that. It's interesting, though. But if you look at the evolution of his career, right? I mean, he kind of was chunky to begin with, and then he turned into a. Look at him now. He looks like the best shape of his life right now as an older man. He just kind of as he got into his TB12 methods and taking care of himself. And those watching on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, you can see a picture Dog has put up there of the actual statue.
The avocado ice cream will do that. Having the personal chefs, it helps. It does help. All right. Mike and the Hoss is powered by the Yum Shop, located in the heart of downtown Wolfboro, and can be found on the Pulse of New Hampshire radio stations all over the world on the Pulse of New Hampshire app. You can always catch up and listen to our previous shows on the Pulse Podcast Network, Spreaker, Audible, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Yum Shop has over 100 varieties of fresh baked goods, including 6 different types of bread and a full-service ice cream bar, and of course, their most famous item, the gingerbread cookie. Make sure to visit the Yum Shop the next time you're in Wolfboro or online at yumyumshop.com. And while you're there, enter the discount code of Mike and the Hoss to receive 20% off a Gingy Box. You can join our conversation, 603-228-2080, 603-228-2080. And thank you to the Heinz Group of Philadelphia and London for sponsoring our live feed on Facebook and YouTube. Oh, and also don't forget to check out our social media, Charlie.
Yeah, definitely. Our social media is on X. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. And especially today, make sure you take a look after the show. Take a look at social media, because we are hopefully going to be helping Wolfboro Community TV today. Timothy Goodwin, as I mentioned earlier, will be joining us in the second segment. But there's an opportunity there for you to donate. Any type of donation will help keep Wolfboro Community TV on air. And we'll talk more about that. And as Mike said, that's kind of where we got our start. And we love WCTV, and we love obviously what we're doing now. So just take a look at that social media once the show ends. So it'll give you all sorts of information of how you can help keep this television station, this local television station, alive.
All right. On Thursday, I was at the Back Bay Boathouse getting their prime rib special. Ooh. And it happens to be that the Back Bay Boathouse sponsors our opening takes.
They do, and they're sponsoring trivia today. So
they are.
Opening Takes is brought to you by the Back Bay Boathouse, where you can enjoy delicious food and drinks right next to the lake. Don't forget to order the $5 Mike and the Hoss penalty box during happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. This is a great weekend to get out there on the deck of the Back Bay Boathouse to enjoy a few drinks and a delicious meal.
All right. So last week I talked about the partnership that DraftKings has with the professional sports teams and organizations. We talked about the book. It happened to be the topic of our poll question last week too. Is that should DraftKings, FanDuel, and the like have partnerships with the leagues, with teams? And we'll get to the details in a second. But overwhelmingly, it was no. I mean, people feel like the same way that we felt, that there's lines being crossed. And it's eroding the trust of the game.
Right.
Well, it's gone farther than that now. If they announced this week that ESPN and NFL and DraftKings are now in a partnership, specifically ESPN and NFL, that they're joining forces. And ESPN, it's going to be exclusive coverage of the NFL. The Red Zone is going to be offered on ESPN.
Right.
And they're going to get like 10% of the league, and the NFL is going to get 10% of ESPN. I forget all the details. But here we go. And so now it wasn't only that DraftKings had a piece of the NFL and that those two things were blurring the lines. So now you have the coverage. The media coverage of the NFL is being done by the NFL, basically. And now the NFL Network, everybody understood when the NFL Network was the NFL Network and they were covering it. But now you have your supposedly independent organizations, being ESPN, in cahoots with the NFL, in cahoots with DraftKings, and it's going to get even blurrier than it was before. When you think about, and I gamble as far as DraftKings go and FanDuel and all those kinds of things. I like fantasy, and so I'm involved. I'm now suspect to any information that comes out of ESPN about players' injuries. ESPN could set the lines. NFL could set the lines for games. They can have influence in that. The biggest problem with this is now it's eroding the trust of people into the games. Somebody like me who's not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but I'm starting to go down that road, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, is Drake May really hurt? Or is Drake May, the coverage from ESPN says that he's not hurt, but I saw the injury and it didn't move the line. But is he really hurt? Is he going to be doing one series and then he's out? But ESPN's covering this game, and so they're putting all this positive propaganda out there because they're going to make money on that end. And if you think about it, it's a company. What is a company, especially a public company, what's their number one responsibility towards?
So they're stockholders.
They're shareholders.
Yeah.
And so they're there to make money. And so there's too many hands that are in the cookie jars right now, and I'm worried. Dog and I were talking about it off air that ESPN is no longer a news organization. It's propaganda. Too many partnerships with these leagues and exclusives with these leagues per se. They're not going to talk negatively about the NFL. It's not going to happen. You might get shows. We talked about PTI. Those independent journalists, they might still do it, but I don't think that the general feeling is that it's going to be mostly positive news or helpful news, probably a better way to say it, helpful news from ESPN about the NFL. Your thoughts?
My thoughts is, obviously ESPN is a media conglomerate, but here's the thing that I was just thinking. I was thinking like the little guys, like us and the other sports broadcasters and stuff. All of a sudden, DraftKings is going to sponsor let's say the Mike and the Hoss show. How cool would that be? But then that puts us in a pickle. Then we're kind of our dialogue, our conversations have to change because, as you said, Mike, we don't want to offend DraftKings, aka the shareholders, and we're not going to be as critical. So you've really kind of changed the dynamic of everything by having these these say DraftKings or in types of sports betting involved with the actual coverage of sports, with the actual teams. We talked last week about prop bets, how it impacts, pitchers, and obviously Dogs, Cleveland Guardians pitchers are in hot water. But yeah, it's crazy to think that this is where we are with sportsbook and betting. As you said, Mike, I'm certainly not anti-betting. But man, you look back and as silly as this sounds, back when it was like you go to the back alley and you find your bookie and the mafia was running the sports betting, that was, I guess, dare I say, a little more pure. Like that's just like there was really not a whole lot of influence.
So the NFL has now interest in what the betting lines are going to be.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, they have interest in this. And now they can control the information. They can give ESPN certain pieces of information or not give ESPN certain pieces of information so those betting lines can get affected. And
they're going to manipulate the betting lines. We know that.
They're going to. I mean, it's where there's going to be somebody there that does it. And it's blurred those three organizations. And again, I'm going to say it again, it's going to erode, if it hasn't already, erode the trust that the public has in watching an NFL game. There's already a sentiment that games are being fixed. That is out there. I don't believe it right now, but there is a sentiment out there that games are being fixed, and you feel like it's going down that road.
Agreed.
Yeah, Dog's on the phone. I want to get the poll results, Dog. You want to do that before we go to break?
Let's do that. Okay. All right. Tale of Two America. Well, not really this time around because it was sports betting. Should it be continue the partnerships with the major four sports leagues? And this was on the cusp of what you just mentioned with now ESPN, NFL Network, and also DraftKings with a partnership. The poll question was, should the major sports leagues in America continue partnerships with gambling companies? And on X, it was 100% no, whereas on Facebook, it was probably about 95% no, 5% yes.
Yeah, so the general public is speaking, that's saying it's too much for them. And there's also not a benefit to the public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's not a benefit to the public that these partnerships are happening. There are only benefits to the stockholders or the shareholders or anything like that. I'm not going to go to a Patriots game now because there's a DraftKings Sportsbook, counter next to the hot dog stand. I'm not going to the game because of that. And
especially since you can just use your phone and make your bets. So.
Right.
Yeah, and it's right. So now it adds that kind of that flavor of, are they manipulating it? Are they not? And even if they aren't, you're still in the back of your head, like, as you said, Mike, there's that conspiracy theory. Like, what do they know that I don't know?
Exactly. All right. We're going to be right back. We'll be right back with Timothy Goodwin of Wolfboro Community Television.
Your home for news, talk, and information. This is 107.7 WTPL, the pulse of New Hampshire.
Hello, New Hampshire residents. Let's take a moment to tell you about Big Jim's Home Center Bargain Outlet in Concord, New Hampshire. Big Jim's is a family-owned and operated company that started as Steenbeck & Sons back in 1954. Jim and Mary Steenbeck moved their three sons from the Bronx and opened a convenience store in Boscawen, New Hampshire. From there, the Steenbecks turned their store into one of the biggest lumber companies in the state. After holding a competition with the Steenbeck employees, the name Big Jim's was born, of course, being named after Jim Steenbeck Sr., the man who started it all. Big Jim's has now been in business for 32 years and is still owned and operated by the youngest son, Don Steenbeck Sr. You'll find Don working behind the counter or in the warehouse, along with his son, his two daughters, a nephew, a couple of sons-in-law, and a few former longtime Steenbeck & Sons employees with over 275 years of combined experience in the building material industry. Visit Big Jim's today for your next home improvement project. Conveniently located at 287 South Main Street in Concord and at bigjimsnh.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZzzQuil Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Coming up at noon, we talk tech with Kim Commando. In the meantime, we're back to Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss on the radio waves. Teachers by day, coaches making plays. Sports talking kings.
As promised, we have Timothy Goodwin, the executive director of Wolfboro Community Television, on the phone for our New Hampshire sports segment, which is brought to you by Bailey's Bubble.
It is, Mike. It is brought to you by Bailey's Bubble. And if I could get on the right page, I could tell you exactly what Bailey's Bubble is all about.
You want me to pick it up here?
No. Family-owned and operated Bailey's Bubble in downtown Wolfboro serves the finest ice cream in the state from May through October. If you can't make it to Wolfboro for ice cream, you can still order their hot fudge, panucci, and butterscotch sauces at baileysbubble.com. My favorite is their homemade hot fudge. When placing your order, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you.
So, as promised, we have Timothy Goodwin, the executive director of Wolfboro Community Television. Timothy, hi. We haven't talked to you for a little while. How are you doing?
I am excellently well. A little frustrated with the whole system, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, as we talk. I'm doing great. Happy to actually be, after the call today, I go on vacation for a couple of days. So I'm going to just take my mind off from all this.
Well, that's awesome, Timothy. I'm sure it's well-deserved because this last few months anyway, have been kind of a whirlwind for not just your company, but public television, public radio have kind of been taking a hit lately. Why don't you explain what's going on with Wolfboro Community Television or generally public broadcasting and how it's affecting the community?
So we're a little different than public broadcasting, as you know, like New Hampshire Public Radio, where it's a different category of public access is the concept here, where the public is allowed to create content and submit it to us, and we play it on the air on our channels, as opposed to the public supports New Hampshire Public Radio and the likes. Different thing that's more professionally generated content rather than homegrown stuff. So we're like a homegrown TV station. In fact, Mike and the Hoss got started with us, which was pretty awesome, and then went pro, which is really cool as well. We're grateful to see you guys go out there. There's some others that have come through. You see Terry Stackhouse on Channel 8 over in Maine. He was a Wolfboro Community TV guy. But here's where we're at. The beginnings of public access television was generated from a concept the Federal Communications had required of cable companies. They said you need to provide an opportunity for the local government to have a station or a channel in your town that is no cost to the town or to the public, such that they can broadcast their own content, and it'll be paid for with the franchise fees. And franchise fees are collected based on the number of subscribers to the cable company. And then that money gets turned over to the town to use however they want. The intention, of course, is to have public access television. So Wolfboro chose to do that. Some towns made that TV station a department of the town, like the Parks and Rec department, they'd have a TV department. And other towns like Wolfboro chose to hire out a nonprofit organization which was then at the time back around the year 2000 that Wolfboro Community Television was established, and the town would pass along those franchise fees to the TV station in order to have a public access channel. With people cutting the cable, we're losing those revenues. The town is, and Wolfboro Community TV, 6 or 8 years ago now, saw that, hey, people are going to be cutting the cable. Things change. Cassette tapes become CDs, CDs become DVDs, or digital media, MP3s, the likes MP3 players. So same thing with television. Over the air became cable, and cable's become digital, and now it's online. So we saw it coming, and we established a free YouTube channel, but there was no revenues to support continuing the broadcast with YouTube. And yet the town was still willing to, we still were broadcasting on the cable TV. So we showed that there's a need with the established YouTube channel, but now those revenues are going away. The town had agreed that they would put us in the town budget, that the taxpayers would help fund for the last 2 years now. And both of those years, the town budget has failed, which cut those revenues away from us. So we've launched a Save Our Station campaign. Please help is the request, to see if some folks really want to have community TV and public access in the town of Wolfboro. And if we're supported, we'll continue. And if we can't get those funds raised, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to talk with our board of directors about how to shut down the station. And my sense is nobody wants it to shut down. But now we got to find those same people to see if they can't help us fund it and get things, keep things rolling.
Well, Timothy, first of all, thanks for joining us. And, I think we've said it before, but on behalf of Mike and myself, thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to do what we're doing now. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be on the radio with you right now. So we love doing talking sports, and we love talking with local community members. So thank you. That being said, can you help the listeners understand? Obviously, the elephant in the room is you need money. We get that, and we want to help with that. But talk a little bit about operational costs, equipment, staff. Like what are your actual needs from running a community television?
Sure. Yep. A couple of years ago, we did an upgrade on some of the equipment that we use to broadcast the selectmen meetings, and some of the other meetings got moved into the town hall because that's where this new equipment was set up. So we broadcast actually live the selectmen meetings, the planning board meetings, the zoning board meetings, and the police commission are all broadcast live. But that took equipment and some money, and the town, there's a grant from the Wolfboro Fund at the time. As part of the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, and they got us into the equipment that we needed to be able to do all that from town hall with the higher quality equipment, which is great. But the TV station itself, we're at a point where the board finally realized and recognized that we need to do something drastic, because the broadcast server that we use is at its end of life, and we rely on the support that comes from the manufacturer for that. And it's similar to the concept of the Windows 10 going away in your computers, and you can't use the old computer to upgrade to the new stuff. You got to have new equipment. It's not a Windows 10 broadcast server, but the operating system for that will no longer be supported after the end of 2025. And so we need to replace that to the tune of $60,000. We've launched you mentioned it's all about the money at this point to make it happen, but we've launched the campaign for $75,000 for 3 years, because we do have the editor stations that we have in the TV studio are all on Windows 10. We get them, some of them we had to force up to Windows 10, but we're at the point where after the end of the year, we're going to have to start not only replace that broadcast server immediately, we're going to have to, as you know, editors die on us, we're going to have to replace the Windows 10 computers in the TV station. We do have a couple of 4K cameras already, which is awesome, but you know, we don't have a lot. Again, if it's as the community TV station, people in the community are allowed to come in and borrow equipment and make their movies and videos that they would then submit to us to put out on our broadcasts. But you know, before we bought those two 4K cameras, people's cell phones actually had better cameras in them than what we could offer at the TV station. And you have an editor in your cell phone, and you don't have to come into the TV station and do your edits anymore. You can do that at home. But a lot of the content that we generate, you know, we try to do the concerts downtown, in the park, you know, that kind of thing. We do the Wright Museum lectures. There's a whole lot that we try to cover for the community. But again, those are the kinds of things that need to be funded, because there's no revenues that come from any of that. It's all community, either volunteer or, you know, with more staff, we could do more. You asked about staffing as well. We're not able to cover hardly any sporting events at this point. For a while, we did all the home games for the football team. And it looks like we might have some volunteers coming up to do that for this year. But we want to be sure that we do. We've, you know, lost our staffing to the point we're not able to do the basketball, volleyball. You know, those games were also covered quite frequently, but we're not able to do that until we can station. Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Timothy, so you're going to have a chance later today. We're obviously on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live, and of course live on the radio. J-Dog back has kind of flipped, you know, we've seen a picture of you, which is very nice, but he put up the Save Our Station and with the QR code and all that stuff. What is the best way? And our social media will also, you know, we've shared it and you'll see that as well. But what is the best way if people would like to make a donation? How can they do that?
So online is pretty easy. There's a QR code in most of those posts that'll take you to our online donation site. Or if you go to the website, WCTV25.com or WCTV25.com, that has our donation button in the upper right corner. You know, a couple clicks through it, you click on the word donation, and then there'll be a great big green bubble in the middle of the screen that'll take you to our PayPal site that has the donation option. You don't have to be a PayPal subscriber to do that, but the money does come through PayPal for us. And of course, they'll try to get you to sign up, which is okay too. You could just, you know, graciously say no if you don't want to do that, if you don't have a PayPal account. But if you do, it's pretty easy to go right in, either use that QR code or go to the www.wctv25.com.
Excellent.
Thanks, Timothy. Timothy, before we let you go, what's the timeline on everything? Is this a crunch that is a matter of months, or you had mentioned that you have a three-year goal of 75,000. What does it look like for you and the station as far as time goes?
Okay, yeah. So the 3-year goal, 75,000 each year. It's a little more than it sounds like. But that's what it's going to be. The time frame is we're a little late already. We should have ordered the broadcast server in July. We're in August already. Rightfully so. Our board is not going to have us place that order until we have the money in hand. The manufacturer earlier on had indicated they were not able to do any kind of financing for us to spread it out. So we really got to have that at least that $60,000 in hand to place the order for the new broadcast year. Then it'd take a month or so for them to get it built and then brought up and installed for us, and then some training. We were hoping to have it done, by the end of December, so that the first of the year there wouldn't be any question. But literally January 1st, if we're still running this old broadcast server and something were to happen, we're just dead in the water. It's not going to be a good scene for us.
Okay. Timothy, we want to, Charlie mentioned earlier, both Charlie and I thank you very much, obviously, for getting us our start. We look very fondly at our days with WCTV, and we love to do a benefit show, a little Mike and the Hoss benefit show for you to help you out too. And anything we can do, and please let us know. We talk about you so fondly, and you're, our heroes, getting us that start with the football games and Mike and the Hoss, and we are very thankful for it. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, and hopefully, if you're listening out there, go to the site that Timothy talked about and keep this going. Keep this community television going, because there are places that get their starts, and Timothy mentioned them. And there's also good content. Wolfboro Community Television has good content, and if you're local, it's good TV.
It is.
And it's available worldwide through that website, through the YouTube channel now as well. So you don't have to be local anymore to catch up with what's happening in Wolfboro. Yeah. And, you guys, I want to say thank you to you for having me on your show and reaching this greater audience. You have a pretty fantastic audience out here in all of New Hampshire. And I really appreciate that you thought of me to include me in your program today. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, Timothy. We love you, and we hope you have a great vacation. Enjoy some downtime, and I know that I'll catch up with you when you're back at the station in a week or so.
Sounds awesome. I'll connect with you. We'll do that benefit show. Thank you.
Sounds great.
Good. All right. Thanks, Timothy. All right, we'll be right back.
This is the Pulse of New Hampshire, 107.7 WTPM.
Hi, I'm Dennis Roberts Jr., owner of Hillsboro Ford and Hillsboro Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram right here in Hillsboro, New Hampshire.
They're going to know it's not me. It's AI.
Nobody's going to know. I asked my sales team, let's move these rides. They said, sure, boss. Then took lunch outside. Now escapes and Rams are collecting dust. So I'm slashing prices cause someone more. Hillsboro Ford, Jeep Ram 2. We're losing thousands just to help you. Top-rated service, just check the reviews. We treat folks right and give them real value. So head to the hills, Hillsboro Ford and Jeep Ram in Hillsboro, New Hampshire, where the deals are.
Hey, it's Big Pete, and this is Repeat from the Appleseed Restaurant in beautiful Bradford, New Hampshire. Today, we'd like to present the Duchess. Soup, that is. That's our signature soup. We've had it since we've been open, 46 years now. It's a blend of cheeses, celery, carrots, onions, all put together, slow cooked, comes out nice and creamy. Delicious. And Dad, how many people have that recipe? 1, 2, 3. Actually, that would be nobody. And why is that, Dad? Because it's a secret recipe. That's right, it is. I believe the original recipe is kept in the basement in the Appleseed Vault. Do we still have the combination for that? Let's talk about catering, Dad. Good idea. We have a website dedicated to our catering, which is appleseedcatering.com. Lots of good information there. And for all other things Appleseed, menu,
trivia, and
online ordering, up-to-date hours, and even gift cards, check out appleseedrestaurant.com. What's that website again, Dad? You can get anything you want at appleseedrestaurant.com. Oh, great. Now we got to pay our low royalties.
In home design, in furnishings design, it's about a wow factor.
Jody Sleeper from American Cottage in Guilford, which specializes in U.S.-made furniture, custom and design services, handmade rugs, and gorgeous lighting.
Rugs are recognizable. I have people still come in my store today, and I started in this industry 31 years ago. They come in and say, oh, wait a minute. I think I bought one of your rugs back in 1992 or something like that. And I'm thinking, that's when I was employed as somebody's art director and chief designer. And but those are all my designs. Yes, they've always been my designs. And hopefully I've created enough design over 30 some odd years that it covers everybody's taste, because I do have some beautiful hand knotted contemporary and silk rug, wool and silk rugs in the store that are just beautiful.
For handmade rugs and custom home furnishings and gifts, visit American Cottage, open Monday through Friday from 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 3. In-house consulting is always available, so visit American Cottage at 9 Guilford East Drive or call for an appointment, 877-263-7268.
Get in touch with the show anytime at thepulseofnh.com and on the free-to-download Pulse of NH app. Now, back to Mike and the Haas on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Haas, sports talk classics in New England Magic, broadcast fantastic. Wolfboro crew where the echoes scream.
We're going to get to those streaking Red Sox once again, but first it's might be our most difficult trivia question yet. So
it might be. So before I jump into trivia, just once again thank you to Timothy Goodwin. And if you have a chance later on, if you're listening on the radio, check out our Facebook Live or our YouTube Live, because you'll have all the information about how you can help save Wolfboro Community Television and save our station. Thanks to J-Dog. He got all that stuff up there. And once again, that website is www.wctv25.com. So Wolfboro Community Television. So thank you. All right. Yes, Mike and Dog. This is a trivia question that was created actually by a friend. And it's Olympic. It's about the Olympics. And it was very, very challenging. None of us got it. So the trivia sponsor today is the Back Bay Boathouse. We love the Back Bay Boathouse. Enjoy their deck. Enjoy the Mike and the Haas penalty box. Enjoy their prime rib, their wings. Absolutely outstanding food. Great atmosphere. And it's right on beautiful Back Bay of Lake Winnipesaukee. Here we go. Which is the most populous country that has never won an Olympic medal? This nation has a population of approximately 173 million people. So this country has never won an Olympic medal. That's Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics. They never won a bronze, a silver, or a gold. So if you can name the most populous country to never have won an Olympic medal, 173 million people. It's a tough question, but if you know, 603-228-2080, 603-228-2080 for a chance to win a gift card to the Back Bay Boathouse.
We're going to talk about the Patriots preseason and their game last night in our last segment. We're going to spend a little bit of time on the Red Sox. The Red Sox are winning baseball games, and which is fantastic. And I see Dogs on the phone now, so who knows, Charlie? Maybe somebody got this.
Somebody knows.
But the big news of the week was that the extension to Roman Anthony. And so Roman Anthony has played approximately 40 games, Major League Baseball games, and they were able to, and you know how baseball works in the major leagues. You go 3 years and then you on team control, then you have arbitration for a few years, and then you finally hit free agency roughly 6 years later. They've locked him up. They've locked him up for 8 years through 2034, I believe.
Yes,
or 2033, and then there's a team option for 2034, and it's $130 million with a potential of 220 or something like that. If he has, there's a few kickers in there, all-star games, MVPs, things like that. We got to go to Jake from Henniker has an answer for trivia, and I am dying for this because this is our hardest answer. Jake, how are you, and what do you got?
Hey, thank you for asking. I'm doing well. I'm just driving out here around Concord. I would just throw Bangladesh just because 170 million sounds like the population of Bangladesh, but that was just honestly a guess.
Jake, are you looking for a job on Mike and the Haas to do some research with us? Because you, my man, you absolutely nailed it. It is Bangladesh is the country. They've never won an Olympic medal. This is absolutely amazing. We before the show, Jake, we're like, there isn't anybody that's going to get the answer to this question. So for you, it was the population. The population led you to the answer.
Yeah, I mean, as you can imagine, trying to figure it out from the award side was going to be impossible. But I have a background in international relations, so I was in military intelligence. So for whatever reason, I have like general ideas about populations for countries.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congratulations, Jake.
Yeah.
You are the winner of a gift card to the Back Bay Boathouse. So well done.
And thank you. And more importantly, thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate you, and thanks for calling in.
Take care, guys.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Have a good one. Dog's flashing up the flag. He's got the flag of Bangladesh up there for the Facebook Live viewers. So
all right.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Good job, Jake, that he got that.
Pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. So getting back to the Roman Anthony deal, are you? They did this with Christian Campbell, which has not worked out so well. They did this with Brian Bale, which has worked out. Are you for or against the Red Sox signing these long-term deals before the players have proven themselves? It's a gamble. It's a gamble for the player. It's a gamble for the team. I saw that I had Copilot, my AI thing that I use, and I had him do a comparison between the deal that Roman Anthony got and his earning potential. And he's risking between 50 and 100 million of more potential earnings that he might be missing out of based on, your traditional arbitration and everything. But he's also guaranteeing himself $130 million, which is, I don't know where the family's at as far as money goes, but it's life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's right. It's a risk for him to say, I don't want to do it. And, what if he gets injured? What if he, tanks? No, I'm okay with this because everything, like if you look at everything on paper, if you look at all of his minor league play, and now he's coming into his own here at the major league level, I say go for it. I mean, I think it's a good move by the Red Sox. The kid's young. Obviously, we can see the potential. We're hoping that he stays healthy and he continues on that, to progress towards, being an all-star. So I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it too, especially from a fan perspective. We didn't talk off air. I played golf with some guys this morning, and we're talking about how exciting the Red Sox team is and the young guys, and knowing that we're going to be able to see these young guys, or some of them anyway, for the next 8 or 9 years, that they're going to be in a Red Sox uniform. We're not going to be worried about them being traded away. Is exciting, and it's a risk for the team. It's a risk for the player. But I think it's a win for the fans because you get to attach, because it's very seldom now that players stay with a team for their entire careers, or for that long anyway. They usually it's one contract and gone. And so at least Roman Anthony seems like he's the real deal. And he's going to be in a Red Sox uniform for most likely in the next 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, I think which is great. I think that's exciting. So,
all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk Patriots preseason.
News, information, and discussion. This is 107.7 WTPL.
Hey, Dr. Brooke, did you hear the big news? I sure did. Crossroads Chiropractic was voted best chiropractor in the capital area. And we were voted best in the Lakes region, too. I wonder if we'll win best in the 603 in September. Then it would be a trifecta. Either way, we're honored and so grateful, especially to all the busy parents and families who trust us to help keep them healthy and active. Absolutely. It's a reflection of the care, results, and trust we strive for every single day. Whether it's tech neck, back pain from carrying the kids, or stress from juggling it all, we get it. We help moms, dads, and even little ones feel and function at their best. To celebrate, we've got a new patient special, just $59 for a full consultation, exam, and includes any necessary x-rays. If your body's been on the back burner while you're raising your family, this is your sign to take care of you. Come see us at Crossroads Chiropractic in Pembroke, Bedford, Meredith, and Epping. Call 603-575-9080 or visit crossroadschiropractic.com.
It was the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, and a man named Ernest Hamway was selling crisp waffle-like pastries called the labia in a booth right next to an ice cream vendor. Because of ice cream's popularity, the vendor ran out of dishes. Hamway saw an easy solution and quickly rolled one of his waffles into the shape of a cornucopia and gave it to the ice cream vendor.
The vendor put a couple scoops of ice cream into it, and voila, the waffle cone was born. And American Fences was there.
Since 1892, American Fences has been owned and operated by the Mafera family. Come to American Fences and discover the highest quality fencing and the pride and workmanship of New Hampshire's most professional fence installers. At American Fences, our customers have always come first, as well as our quality products.
So lick that fencing job
with American Fences Incorporated.
Online at AmericanFences.net.
American way, American Fence Company.
when I go places and do things, I can't help look at stuff that I think is unsafe.
Scott Lawson of the Lawson Group on serious injuries that can happen in the workplace.
Most companies, when there is an injury like that, they do go overboard, and they spend way too much time and effort and energy and money on the wrong things, because typically it is people's behavior, lack of training, education, equipment, whatever, that allowed them to get hurt. And that's really where they should be focusing their emphasis.
In your expertise, what is the generalized root cause for most accidents in the workplace?
So the last thing in the world you want to do is have a brand new employee that's never seen this machinery or equipment before be trained by somebody that knows how to break all the rules without getting hurt. Although Joe may be there for 20 years and he's a good employee and produces a lot of widgets and very high quality widgets, he may be cutting every corner in the books because he's been doing it for 25 years.
For workplace safety information on everything from indoor air quality and hazardous materials management to noise exposure, wellness consulting, and workman's comp, it's the Lawson Group. Go to thelawsongroup.com.
You're listening to the Granite State's own Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Wolfboro Road. Legends quit too late. Mike on the mic, playing balls. Wolfboro nights where the snow gets tossed.
So we got about 9 minutes left in our show, and I see Dog just flashed, though. We got to get to the poll question. Charlie, you wanted to cover something real quick before we get to the Patriots.
I did. There is history today in Major League Baseball. The Marlins Braves doubleheader will see its first ever female umpire at the Major League level. Jen Powell, she's going to be working the game, both of these games today. I think it's awesome. I think it's exciting. It's a long time coming. I know back, Dog will correct me, but if I'm wrong, but back in like 88, 89, we had a female umpire that made it to AAA and did some spring training games, but never actually did a Major League Baseball game. So this is absolutely exciting. I think it's great. I think the fact that more women are getting involved in officiating and umpiring, I think it's amazing. So best of luck today, Jen, as she takes the field. She's got a long career as she was a stud softball player. I believe she actually played at Hofstra back in the day, but that's kind of where she got her start. And she's her very first, it was cool. I saw a little interview with her. Her first gig, she was doing some like local softball games for $15 a game, and someone saw her potential. And here she is. She grinded it out in the minor leagues for the past decade, and she's going to get her shot today. So good luck, Jen. Go for it, and nice job in representing women and females in Major League Baseball.
Shouldn't she be a studette instead of a stud?
I guess. Sure. There you go, Dog. All right.
You know, we've talked about this before, how good Major League Baseball umpires are. Yeah. And you see the strike zone, and they are so consistent. I mean, occasionally they're not. And also the batters are so good when they know if a ball is like 1 inch outside and they look back at the umpire if they call it. But the robot umps are coming. It's coming. I don't know how long, if it's going to be in her career, but I'd probably within the next 10 years or so, we're probably going to get the robot umps for strikes and balls. And so the home plate person is just going to be there to call it, box, basically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Hey, the Patriots played their first preseason game last night.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch with my son. I watched the first part of it anyway. And the Patriots look good. They ran the opening kickoff back, scored a couple touchdowns. They blew out the Washington Redskins. So we asked, does
the Commanders? The Commanders.
Commanders. Sorry.
Are you trying to change the name?
No, I'm not. Commanders. And so, God, so sorry. I'm so sorry. So, he says, does it matter? Does preseason matter? And so I did a little search, and there's only been one Super Bowl winning team who has gone winless in the preseason, the 1982 Washington
Redskins at the time.
Formerly, they were Redskins. That's where it came from.
Yeah. Football team. Yeah.
And Super Bowl winning teams collectively have a preseason record of about 160-80 collectively. So does preseason matter? The data says that it does. So should you feel good about the New England Patriots coming out strong in their preseason game? The data says you should, and they did. So our poll question of the week has to do with that, Dog.
Yes. Are you interested? Does the NFL preseason interest you? Yes or no?
Well, now, based on what Mike just said, if it's data driven, then I may have to start paying attention to preseason football, because normally I like whatever, if it's on, yeah, you throw it on and check it out, but you'll watch the first series. But I don't know, Dog, what are your thoughts?
We got Guardians White Sox tonight. You want me to watch Packers Jets too? What are you trying to do to me here?
Well, now you know that it matters. I think you might want to. As a Patriots fan who they've struggled for the last 3 or 4 years, and to see them come out last night, and it wasn't perfect. I'm not going to, Drake May fumbled. He got sacked. The touchdown that he scored, he ran it in, which is not necessarily what you want to see him doing. But there seemed to, we've talked about this extensively, Charlie. The operation seemed to be organized yesterday. Right. It's they knew where to line up, and you take that for granted. The last couple of years, they haven't really been lining up very well, right. And that comes down to coaching. And so you got to start there. Is the coaching representative of an NFL franchise? And it is. It is. They got guys that seem to know what they're doing, historically have done the job before. So that's a start. Now, whether the talent's there, that's a different story. Did you catch any of the game?
No, I was in a meeting last night, so
okay.
I only saw the highlights after the game. So,
well, I think there's optimism. There's optimism.
Yeah. I'm definitely optimistic. And then once I saw that, I guess, you see the blowout and you're like, oh, wow. I got a little excited, not knowing anything, and then I saw the kick return for a touchdown. I was like, "Oh, this is great!" And then I watched some of the highlights. You're right, and I watched the replay of the Vrabel post game conference, and I feel pretty good.
The final scores are tough because most of the guys that are playing in the second half are probably not going to be in the NFL in a couple weeks.
Right.
So what happens in the first part of the game? You got to feel excited about TreVeyon Henderson. He was the running back that he was their second round draft pick. He certainly did the job last night. It wasn't just that run back. He's pretty explosive.
Yes.
Drake May, I like mixed bag with Drake May. Will Campbell was pretty good. He did let up one sack, but he was out there for 15 plays or so, and he looked good besides that. Relative to where they're coming from, I think you probably should feel pretty good about them. If you think back to the other guy that was in the house last night with Brady Days, no, you wouldn't feel real great about them. But relative to where they are last year, they seem to be that they're going to be a competitive team.
Yeah. No,
How do you feel about Vrabel getting involved with the fight that happened during the practices this week with the Commanders? He jumped in. Did you catch that? So during training camp,
he got bloodied.
He got bloodied. He was in there, throwing haymakers. He got hit or whatever, and he got pretty bloodied up. Do you think that they're going to continue doing these what do they call them? Joint sessions, joint practice sessions. Do you think they're going to keep doing it? Because it seems to be fights all the time.
Yeah, there seems to be fights. I mean, I think from a football perspective, I think it's great to be able to actually go against live competition, real live, and I get that you can play against your own guys, but it's totally different because even though you're playing against your own guys, it's not 100%. I think having it is a good thing, but if you're going to continue to have fights and stuff, maybe not.
How long before they go to the 18-game schedule? Because they're going to get rid of another preseason game, and they're going to get. Is this like a 5-year plan? Do you think within 5 years?
I think so. I mean, and I support that. I'd love to have one more regular season game, one more meaningful game. I think it would be great.
17 is kind of an odd number. You got to get to the even. You got to get to the even numbers, the balanced schedule. Dog shaking his head.
Hates every second of this.
14-game season. I want this season ended in mid-January like it used to be.
Stop it, Dog.
But I want the Super Bowls to be played in California or Hawaii, so that way it's still light out. Because I'm jealous when that happens.
Oh,
the Australian Open.
I want the NFL to go through March. I want to
keep. It does. The NFL has it figured out. We talked about it. The Super Bowl's mid-February. Then you got the combines, the draft, the free agency, training camp, OTAs. They have it figured out.
You want March Madness till June, don't you?
Oh boy.
No, we don't want that at all.
Hey, one last thing before we get going here. The Celtics extended head coach Joe Mazzulla to a multi-year contract. Joe's going to be around for a while.
Boo. Tonight on the Pulse, New Hampshire Red Sox pregame 7:40, postgame. First pitch 8:40 against the San Diego Padres. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.